history of our country is characterized by too much forgetting.
It was Winnie Mandela and not Mandela's wife.
An explosion in South Africa that would make the French Revolution look like a very early morning picnic.
Southern Africa is like a zebra. You cannot put a bullet in the white stripe and think the animal will not die. It will die.
It has become difficult to avoid taking lives.
The idea behind the collection is to show history through different eyes and from a different perspective.
Each piece is complex. Each piece is specifically created to be complex.
He's challenging us to talk, to ask questions, to debate.
I am an African. I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native land. A human presence among all of these, a feature on the face of our native land thus defined. I know that none dare challenge me when I say I am an African. The Constitution which we celebrate constitutes an unequivocal statement that we refer to accept that our Africanness shall not be defined by our race, our color, our gender, or our historical origins. Former President Motlanthe, Rolf Meyer, Pik Botha, Dr. Poza, all distinguished guests, it is such a privilege and an honor to be able to host you here tonight. What an opportunity. An opportunity to celebrate 22 years of democracy. An opportunity to celebrate the 20th year of bringing into law our Constitution.
From the pieces that I've seen is based on individuals who played a key role in getting us to where we are. And I think that for young people in particular, it would be important for them to put themselves into their shoes to check as to whether what we're doing now would make these people proud.
Who is this?
Mr. John Jesus.
I would like to honor the individuals and family members of those featured in the artworks present here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, words cannot express the gratitude for all the sacrifices you and your families have made that gave us the freedom and Bill of Rights that we enjoy today. To give us the opening address, the Honorable Zak Yacoob, former Justice of the Constitutional Court, on the dynamism of the Constitution.
It is an important occasion, but it is also a very serious occasion. We have looked at the paintings, we have looked at the fine line, and it is important for us to look at the relationship between the fine line and the dynamism of our Constitution. These paintings, in a way, reflect a unity between the past, the present, and the future. And ultimately, it is art that unites the past, present, and the future. Politics never can. Constitutions never can. And that is indeed the power of art. And the fine line has meaning because it asks the question, how fine or how not fine is the line between where we should be and where we are? Ultimately, we have to concede in evaluating the line that our Constitution says that everyone is equal. 95% of the people in our country, in their heart, there's lots of trouble about racism in the country, but in my view, we have to accept that 95% of the people in our country believe in their own racial superiority at one level or another. So it's very easy to say that you are non-racist and non-sexist, but to be it, we must study the Bill of Rights, understand it, embrace it, question ourselves, and ensure that ultimately, first and foremost, we ourselves live and embrace the values of our Constitution. And that is what the paintings ask us to do, because if we can't do it, we can't ask anyone else to do it.
What lessons do you think we've learnt from that period, or perhaps even should have learnt?
We were real enemies when we started talking. I will never forget it. The occasions there at the beginning where we literally walked out on each other. But in the end, we knew there was no alternative. We had to come back. We had to sit down and we had to talk. And there was nobody else that could do it for us. It was us. We took ownership ourselves. I think that's one of the most important lessons of the South African experience, that we took ownership, we made it our responsibility, not only for the design of the process, but also the outcome.
The Constitution is enriched partly by the Freedom Charter, which says South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. Now, we must live that reality. We must live above our own prejudices. If you listen very carefully, you'll find that people begin to question the Constitution. I think that's wrong. The Constitution is the supreme law of the country, not the ANC or the DA. And I want to put straight in English, the Constitution is supreme law of the country. And this lesson needs to be understood by our children and everybody else.
In Africa, we are resolved to end such evils as oppression, white supremacy, and racial discrimination, all of which are incompatible with world peace and security.
It's a drawing that tells the story of South Africa.
Indeed.
I could see him in that pensive mood, really looking as if he's carrying, all the problems of South Africa and the world. Well, I couldn't have had a better dad than him.
This country holds great potential for succeeding, but we've got to ensure that the Constitution must inspire adherence to the rule of law. We need to hold dialogues more at levels that really matter. We shouldn't leave the process of nation building in the hands of government alone. We should be dialoguing all the time.
One of the greatest achievements of the democracy building process, our Constitution. All of you who are involved in our Constitution building process have done is to give us a roadmap, to give us a direction, to give us context. And it is now up to the next generation of South Africans to embrace that context and to take us to our potential. I have to ask you all to return to the struggle, to take up the struggle to end poverty, to take up the struggle to educate our people, to take up the struggle to create a positive environment with which we need to build our democracy. So in conclusion, I have one thing to say. Aluta continua, let the struggle continue, and all join me in this new struggle.
We need to understand the Constitution. what does it actually speak of? Let's talk about its pros and cons. Let's properly analyze and get to the roots of the Constitution before we so easily say, oh, it's my right, oh, it's my constitutional right, oh, in the Constitution it says we will have free education. It doesn't. So in order for us as the youth to advance our plight, we need to understand the Constitution.
Our Constitution.